Welcome guys to another weekly review. So this week I took 4 trades, 2 losses, 1 break even and 1 win. So let's start with the first one. It was on Monday. It was a short on gold. Let's see. Okay, so let's start with the 4 hour. The 4 hour, the previous one was bullish. All right, so I took it on this one, right? I just took the screenshot later, but the trade was on this 4 hour candle. The previous one had closed bullish. We had a wick to fill to the left. The current one, this one, right, made the lower wick and went up and started to reject. So now at this point, it tried to fill the wick to the left and it started to reject and started coming back down. All right, so that was the, I was anticipating the 4 hour to go back down and make this week, which already ended up making. The 1 hour, it closed bullish, the previous one, but it went up, broke the previous highs and still came back down to close below resistance. So I asked myself this: if price wants to go up, right, why would it break the previous highs and come back down to close below resistance again? Does it make sense? So maybe price is telling me it wants to go down, as it did, right? So let's move on to the 30. This is actually the reason I took this trade. Okay, so look at this. We had this resistance on the 30-minute time frame. We had a closure above. Candle just closed like weak bullish, and the next one gave us a fake out. All right, so now this candle, let's start with this small candle. This candle right here, weak body and a great top wick. So what does a candle like that say? When a candle closes like this and we are at some kind of resistance, right? This is telling me that price is getting weaker. The bullish momentum is getting weaker, and with the bearish momentum is getting stronger by rejecting it, right? So that's what that candle told me. The next one closed back into the range, giving us a fake out. All right, so a fake out right here. Now look at this one. This is a 30-minute time frame, by the way, okay? So the next one closed sellery, but not just that, it went up, broke the previous highs, and came back down to close back into the range, right? Why would price break all the highs? So at one point, this candle was looking like this. So why would price look like this and then reject it and come back down to close back below resistance? Maybe price doesn't want to go up at all. All right, so that's where I took my entry. I took an entry on the break of the previous low. So this candle had made a top wick and broke the previous low, so I got it. All right, we had this wick right here, but this was almost New York open, so I was kind of trusting the volume to break that wick and just fill all this range down. All right, but it didn't. Okay, so moving on to the 15. This is where things get tricky. Look, the 15 is a mess. All right, look at this. There's a support right here, but let me show you this. If you look at this candle right here that went up, that gave us the pack, right? It closed bullish with a huge rejection wick. The next one made a top wick and closed below this minor support, right? If you notice it. Obviously, we have this one to the left still, but yeah, it closed below that one, okay? But if you look overall, the 15 doesn't look good. No, I took the trade based on the 30, okay? And, when the 30 is telling me something which aligns with everything else, but the 15 is not quite there, I take the trade and I accept the consequence of having a lower time frame saying something else. And, price may reject there. And that's okay. And it did. Most times, let me say it like this, most times it will go my way, right? Most times this is what's going to happen. So I have to execute on this, all right? One thing I did though, right, was when this candle, the 15-minute candle, closed back above, I closed my position at this point. So yes, it didn't hit my stop loss. It would have been a winner, but it doesn't matter to me because at this point, with this closure, this is not my trade anymore. all right? So this 15 grabbed the lows here and closed back above. That's not my trade, I'm out. That's how I manage things, all right? So instead of losing 600, I lost 300, okay? So yeah, guys, that's the first trade. Let's move on to the second one. So the second trade was a break even, all right? So let's look into it. The 4 hour was bearish, all right? It made that top wick. It could have been a better top wick, that's for sure, but with the bearish momentum, this was enough, right? Or at least at the time, I thought it was enough, okay? So yeah, pretty bearish, and my entry was around the break of the previous lows too, right? And we had clean range up until this area too, okay? So yeah, 4 hour looking clean for the sales. Moving on to the 1 hour, we have kind of breakout on a 1 hour. So price moved down, created a fresh support with a huge rejection wick to the left. And now this one wicked up and closed back below. So 1 hour breakout. Let's move on to the 30. The 30 gave us a breakout too. Okay, so this candle formed the resistance, a fresh one. This one respected the previous high and closed below support. The next one respected the previous high too, and that was my entry. My entry was on the 15. So let's see on the 30. Yes, it was a bearish closure below the support, and we had a wick to fill to the left too. The 15 minutes. All right, 15-minute breakout. We had a fresh support, okay, and we had a closure below that support. What do we know about this week right here? All right, so this week was a rejection week, okay? But when we have the closure below support, so price closing outside of this range, so now this week becomes a wick fill, okay? So I entered on the break of this low, and price went down, filled the wick, and started to, you know, having some issues breaking it, all right? Now, the next candle was the London Open candle, right? So 2 a.m. Eastern. And what happened was it opened without a top wick, all right? So we had this closure, still it went up, respected the previous high, but it still closed below, which is great. This is what I wanted. Now the next one, London Open candle, it opened without a top wick and broke the lows. So at this point, with all the volume coming in, I thought, yo, okay, so it's breaking lows. By the way, this yellow line was my partials. It didn't hit for, I don't know, 5-10 pips maybe. So it's breaking lows without a top wick in London Open, all right? So price has no business coming back up now because of the volume coming in if it wants to go down. So once it broke the previous lows, I moved my stops to break even. And guess what happened? It broke it and stopped me out at break even. All right. Again, that's how I manage risk. Okay. There was no reason for me to be in this trade anymore after price broke the lows and break the highs again. Right. Because with the volume, it can grab liquidity here and just stop all the sellers, the late sellers out. Okay. So that was the way I managed this trade. And by the way, it would have stopped us out. I think I cannot remember very well, but maybe, yeah, I think it stopped us out and went straight back down, or it respected for a little bit. I don't know, but I don't think about the outcome in these scenarios, right? I make a plan and I execute on it. If the outcome goes in my favor, I don't care. I'm not in it anymore. If it goes against me, I also don't care because I'm not in it anymore. Okay, that's my decision and that's what I plan, and I execute what I planned. All right. All right, moving on to the third trade. Let's start with the 4 hours. So 4 hour was bearish. Okay. One thing though, we have a wick to fill right here on the previous bearish 4 hour, but we are at support. Okay, so keep that in mind. We are at target tap on the 4 hour, and the current one has no bottom wick. Okay, so first at support, but we have a wick to fill and no bottom wick on the current 4 hour. Right, it went up, broke the previous highs, and started to reject. All right, we know that around 70 to 80% of the candles have both top and bottom wicks. So this trade was the idea to anticipate the 4 hour bottom. All right, So the 1 hour, it closed bullish, okay, with this with rejection wick to the left, right? It tapped that area around here and it started to reject. Now the next one wicked up and started to come down too, okay? Moving on to the 30. All right, so I took this entry not on this break of lows, right? I took it as an inverted celery on the 30. You know, so it went up right here, rejected the support. The next one went up, respected the previous highs, closed inverted celery. And now the current one, which it's the one that I took the entry on, also respected the previous highs, made the top wick and started to break the previous lows. Okay, this was around London Open 2. Okay, now if you look at the 15, we had this bullish move, a resistance formed, and then a fresh support formed, right? At this point, I was waiting for this candle to give me some kind of range to sales, so range to breakout. I was waiting for this, right? The closure below, all right? But it didn't happen, so I had to wait for another candle, all right? And guys, the patience is important here. The market always rewards the patient traders, okay? This is exhibit A, right? So we didn't take anything here. Okay, it didn't break the previous lows anyway, but yes, we weren't taking anything here. We waited for the next candle and it closed below, forming as a celery, okay? So not only it's a celery, but a closure below the support. So it's also a breakout. And my entry was not on the break of these lows, but on a break of these lows, because that's the 30 low. It's a stronger confirmation than the 15 low. Does that make sense? So yeah, I took it on a 30 inverted celery, and the target was right here on this low right here that the candle didn't have, which was what? The 4-hour lows. It tapped it, and yeah, we closed full right here, and yeah, great trade, right? Great trade. This was partials. We secured something around this area, and we closed full on this low right here. Okay, and what happened next? I think it did something like this. Grabbed the pack here one more time and went even further down. All right, so that was the trade, W trade. We caught it on live stream, London session. So yeah, amazing trade. Right, guys, so last trade of the week, it was on a Wednesday. It was a buy, right? So no trades on Thursday and no trades on Friday. The 4-hour was pretty bearish, okay? I took a buy against this, all right? It's gonna make sense in a way, but I just want to let you know that I was against the trend, against the higher time frame direction, all right? I thought, okay, so the 4-hour doesn't have a top wick, so the move was actually anticipating that too. But as you can see, there's a lot of red candles here that don't have a top wick either, right? So yeah, let's move on to the 1-hour. The 1-hour had closed like this, bearish. And yeah, it wasn't at support, but it broke the previous lows and started to break the previous highs after. Okay, so I was anticipating the 1-hour to look something like this at the end, right? Because it broke the previous lows first, and now it's breaking the previous highs. Okay, so moving on to the 30. So this is where I took the entry. Okay, I was actually receiving some messages from people that, yo, Andre, what do you think about these sales? What do you think about these sales, right? And I didn't like it because this rejection week was right there. So price could reject again. And it's exactly what it did. I actually sent this exactly on the Discord community, right? So I was anticipating this range too, okay? We know that when we are against the 4-hour, we need some extra confirmation. And for me, that's the range 2 breakout, all right? Look at this. So we had the bullish move right here on this candle, a pullback, right? These 2 bearish candles, and then a fresh support formed, okay? Right here, we had buyers getting in, right here, okay? I call them the early buyers. And then after that closure, okay, so the buyers are in drawdown now, closure. Where are the stop losses of the early buyers? Around here. Okay, so look what happened. Early buyers right here got stopped out. Boom, done, out of the equation. Now, let me ask you this. Who got in on the break of these lows? Right? the sellers. I call them the early sellers, okay? And what happened next? So buyers stopped out, sellers in. And now look at this. Who got stopped out here? The sellers. Okay, so now with everybody out of the equation, it's time for me, right? Obviously, it ended up being a loss. One thing I'm going to say though is, yeah, I could have, not take this based on this top wick. Maybe it's a small wick. Yes, maybe it is. And now it's time for me to look back and say, okay, Andre, maybe next time just avoid this one based on this top wick. Okay, and yeah, maybe that's it. Let's move on to the 15. The 15, we had a breakout too. I had my partials on this 15-minute resistance. It didn't tap for like 2 or 3 pips. It happens. And look, I managed the trade here too. So my stop loss initially was below this support, okay? But once we had this candle rejecting the resistance and closing back below, that's not my trade anymore. This is a fake out to the bearish side, right? I'm out. I closed my full position right here, okay? So I lost 200 instead of almost $700. Okay, so that's how I manage things. I got in on the break of these highs and almost got into my partials. It rejected, closed back below resistance, all right? This is a fake out. This is not what I signed up for, right? This is not my trade. I leave, I close, I don't care. I don't care if it goes up afterwards. I don't care if it goes down afterwards. That's my rule, and the rules are there to protect me from me, okay? That's it, guys. That's another weekly review. Thank you for watching, and have an amazing weekend. I'll see you next week.